gentlemen, to another episode of Running Wild Podcast. I'm your co-host Rich, alongside me as always, my co-host Runz.
Yes, sir.
And just before we get started, I want to remind you we're brought to you in partnership with PWPonderings.com, ROHworld.com, Last Word on ProWrestling.com, and we're featured on the Wrestling to the Max network. Alright, so with all that out of the way, we have a pay-per-view to talk about, which I could just make as part of the opening, and just keep it.
Yeah, you might as well. It's every week.
As we've learned over the course of this is now our 89th episode, I refuse to just tape the beginning and the end, and I make us do it every single week.
Yep.
So that's awesome. All right, so we have Extreme Rules coming up this weekend. I guess we can just cover that in terms of covering Raw, and we'll just film the holes that way, and then maybe touch on SmackDown. We've got some Ring of Honor shows this weekend that we'll talk about for about 2 hours. And
yeah, I mean, Raw and SmackDown have been just nonsense for the past few weeks, so we don't even have to touch on that stuff long.
I'm going to say something that's kind of terrible, considering that we do this weekly and I'm supposed to be informed. They've been so terrible that maybe, I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just tired from work, and this adds into it. But I'm just like, no, man. I just don't want to watch them like completely. I don't care to watch them live. I'll fast forward. I watched something else with Raw. No, with SmackDown, because I remember seeing the This Is Your Life segment on the computer, and I just lowered the volume and just kept watching what was on the...
That thing, my God, was horrific. But, yeah, I mean, like, I've been doing the same thing. Like, that's why I don't like recording Raw and doing something else, because when I did that 2 weeks ago, I just fast-forwarded through the entire episode. So, at least when I watch it live, I have to watch things. Because otherwise, it's just all fast-forwarded. I don't care about The Miz and Ambrose. Like, I just watched that all on SmackDown. We'll get to this with Extreme Rules, but... most of this stuff is just kind of whatever. It's placeholders. It's nonsense. It hasn't been good. And, I mean, the ratings and whatever else has shown that. So, I'm hoping over the summer they have some good plans because, they're not in a good place right now.
All right, it's good to hear that it's somebody else because sometimes I don't want to, that I'm super negative. And the other thing is also that I've been on a kind of recent tear of watching a lot of wrestling. Just since I started using the Flow Slim account and things like that, it's just more than just your average WWE watching. I'm also overloading on Ring of Honor, and every minute they come out with something. And I'm also, just watching random WN events over on Flow Slam. So I thought that I was just reaching my saturation point, and I was like, wait a minute, am I growing up? Do I just not like wrestling anymore? And, then I've been talking to a couple people that are just also seem... Because I don't try to go by what Twitter says, just because they could be, Twitter community can be negative about anything. So you can see good stuff, and then you can also see people talk about how much they don't like it. And there are times where I like really stupid, kind of corny stuff that I'm not supposed to, right? But I still like R-Truth, I guess. But I mean, R-Truth and Goldust actually were the best. I thought the best segment on Raw this week. Those backstage.
Yeah, I didn't like that they did them back to back.
Yeah,
I thought that was weird and dumb.
Yeah,
like they kind of made it seem like R-Truth cut off Goldust, but then like you could clearly tell it was taped. So I didn't like that. But I thought the Goldust one was really good, and Goldust has been great as the evil Goldust again. But the R-Truth one, he just said the same thing Goldust said, but it was stupider and worse. And I was just kind of like, oh God, like any chance you had of me caring about this is out the window. Like I wouldn't say excited, but I'm looking forward to seeing Goldust in the mid card and have some matches because the guy can still work, so that'll be fine. But R-Truth, oof.
Well, don't do that because he hasn't even started yet. Just remember that it's in the original song.
It's rough that he hasn't started yet, and he's been doing this for 20 years.
He's one of the youngest. Oh,
he's going to be one of those guys that just never got started, man.
I like R-Truth,
so
I'm actually...
get out of the starting gates, you know?
I'm happy. I mean, I just do like, just plain old happy R-Truth, and angry R-Truth doesn't really do it for me, but...
No. Goldust also needs the blonde wig back.
Really? Do we think that?
Yes. Evil Goldust, I need that blonde wig. I even remember having the rubber, like, blonde wig came with the plastic figure. Oh, man. He needs that thing.
So, see, by that time, I didn't have Goldust. I think I had, or the Goldust I had was, like, maybe still the Hasbro one? The little guys with the moves?
I don't even know that they had a Goldust one of that.
I'm gonna...
Straight up hard plastic ones.
I don't want anybody right now to just Google and be like, this guy is an idiot. Alright, so on a side note, I just Googled it and I'm not crazy. They actually did have it. So this makes me feel a lot better.
Okay.
Unless this is some sort of custom job that somebody did, but I believe they at least had one. So I'm not crazy. Alright, that's fantastic. Alright, yeah, but that's what we're always like, that we're just going to veer off into... just veering... I mean, okay, hold on. Let's not completely take a dump on it. The matches involving the guys who are going to be in the 5-way, I thought those were good.
But, like...
I didn't care.
Right, that's the thing. Like, I don't care to watch a triple threat that is only occurring because there's a 5-way. And okay, so you just showed me all 5 of these guys wrestle each other. Now I'm supposed to care about them wrestle each other again on Sunday. Why? You know what I mean? I don't know. Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, yeah, they were both cool matchups. I enjoyed seeing those 5 guys. They picked the right 5 guys to be in this match, but they have to find a way to be more creative. Like, Finn Balor can wrestle someone else. It doesn't have to be the person in that match that we're going to see in 4 days.
Fair. That's a fair assessment. All right, so let's look.
The guys on the rosters, the work in the ring, that stuff hasn't been bad. It's hard for that stuff to be bad because all of these guys are so good. But it's the stupidity in the booking and the laziness and the lack of creativity. Oh, great, we put the belt on Jinder, but that doesn't get you out of everything else,
Well, that's not even this show.
Exactly.
So the pay-per-view is going to start off. I'm not sure if you can handle this. I assume this is it's not even saying that it's pre-show, which is interesting, or kickoff, whatever. It's just listed on the card, so this makes me wonder, are we going to get a kickoff match, and then Rich Swann and Sasha Banks versus Noam Dar and Alicia Fox is going to be on the actual card? Is this what I'm supposed to understand?
I can't really see this being on the show. I think this will be the kickoff match, but if it is, well, then whatever. It's when I was watching this on Raw, I was like, wow, like they had nothing better for Sasha Banks to do than feud with Alicia Fox and Noam Dar and team her with the cruiserweights. On one hand, it's sad to see that they had no better use for her, but it's also good that at least they found something. And this is, I guess, a decently... the participants in this match have intrigued me, so it is what it is, but I will not be caring about this mixed tag match, obviously.
No, I don't think so either. Do you think this is an extended thing, or do you think that this is just one and done?
I think this is just a placeholder until they have something better for Sasha to do. She needs to get the win here so she continues to look strong, and then whatever they're going to do with her. It's interesting to see how, as soon as Charlotte left, that women's division has really taken a hit. Yeah, Bayley and Alexa is fine, but those are the only women on the show, other than these two. And Nia Jax even took a shot at at the creative on Twitter saying something like, "Oh, it's funny how all of the women are used on SmackDown." So, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the coming months.
Who do you think wins?
Sasha and Swan.
Yeah, I don't think that Fox and Dara can handle that. I just want to hear that song twice in the night. I'm a big fan.
Alicia Fox.
We can talk about anything about the dancing. Are we going to mention that at all?
No.
Because that's the thing that's happening. Just to put it out there. But anyway. Then we have the Cruiserweight Champion Neville defending against Austin Aries in a submission match. At this point, I like both of these guys. I just feel like if Aries doesn't win it, it'll just kind of be odd to me if Aries doesn't win it, to be honest.
And that's what intrigues me and also doesn't intrigue me. Like, if Aries loses here again, that's it. It's game over. But
yeah,
he needs to get this win. Yeah, I get the story being that, like, each time he gets closer and closer, or whatever the case. But man, like, to lose to Neville every time he faces him, and now in a submission match too. But he just made him tap out on Monday. Is he really going to make him tap out again?
Huh. But see, like, I feel like that doesn't even matter anymore.
Right. I mean, I know who you read one article and it changed your entire belief system. But
no. But I the other thing is, like, it's the timing of everything.
The pinfall, I get it, but the submission, usually a guy doesn't tap out 2 times in a week. That's a little overkill.
I don't know who does he go into a program with next.
Like, is Neville going to cheat to win somehow, and like we're going to get this match again at SummerSlam? Or
I mean, that would make sense, wouldn't it?
No, this has been going on for 6 months.
Well, I mean, in terms of what they've been doing. Like, I feel like they'll just keep, like...
Literally every Monday and Tuesday, it's been Aries and Neville in some way, shape, or form since leading up to WrestleMania. That's like... Cedric Alexander's back. Like, all right, let's see him. Let's do something with these guys.
Yeah, I don't see why you don't go with Aries here, but I guess you're right. I mean...
Go with Aries, then you have the rematch at SummerSlam, and then that's it. Otherwise, Aries is dead, and this is over with.
I think I'm going to go with Aries.
Just by default, like, yeah, I have to agree.
I'm just going to go with it. I mean, it doesn't seem like he's going to win, but I'm going with Aries.
Eventually, we have to be rare.
Yeah. Then you have the Raw Tag Team Champions, the Hardy Boys, going to be defending against Cesaro and Sheamus in a steel cage match. This is another one where, I don't know. I mean, it almost feels like Sheamus and Cesaro need to get the belts eventually. But I don't see a reason why you take it off the Hardys just yet.
No, I agree with your sentiment about the Sheamus and Cesaro needing the belts, and I think they're going to get the win. The Hardys came back at WrestleMania. They had a nice moment. They've had a decent run with this, but Sheamus and Cesaro, now that they've turned heel, now that they're these badasses, I think they get the win here, and the Hardys move on to whatever else. They don't need the titles. They can be single stars. So,
does this break them?
Yeah, I mean, we've been asking that since they showed up, and I don't know that we're any closer to a resolution there. So, I don't know.
Man, I hope it does. No, but I'm
Speaking
looking
go ahead. I'm looking forward to this match.
And I'm going to pick the Hardys. I don't want them to drop the titles. You know what? Your explanation is really good. I'm going against the fact that I actually think I just want the Hardys to win. So I think I'll go with Cesaro.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I agree with you again. This is going to be a good match. I'm really looking forward to the steel cage and these four guys. I think they're going to tell a great story. I think it's going to be really good. But yeah, I'm going to go with Sheamus and Cesaro too. But what I was going to say before, speaking of tag teams and actually something on Raw that I'm kind of interested in is the Big Cass and Enzo, who's attacking Enzo storyline. Because they're teasing that it is the Revival. And last week, I feel that Big Cass went a little too over the top trying to convince us that it was the Revival. So my thinking here is that it could be Big Cass attacking Enzo.
Motherfucker.
And we're going to get that reveal where it's like, oh, come on, who's been doing it? Revival, we know it's you. And then Cass is just going to attack Enzo or something like that.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to go back in the archives to last week, you can listen to how I feel about friends and wrestling. If this turns out to be Cass, fuck him.
Again, man,
that's my analysis.
Who's been the one taking all these losses for the tag team? It's not Big Cass.
Once again, I'd like to just put it out there that I grew concerned every time that you seem to.
No. You know, for the people again who also want to rewind and listen to last week, also remember that it was you who said you have no problem stabbing your tag team partner in the back without hesitation.
If I felt it coming, if I did feel it coming,
it wasn't me.
So I feel like right now, Cass, Enzo should just attack Cass like out of nowhere. Just out of nowhere.
I just think the way that Big Cass was like, I know it was the Revival. I know it was them. I didn't believe it. And I don't want to see Enzo and Cass against the Revival. So I think this would be a good way to avoid all of that and
do you think
get some interest on Cass and Enzo.
Is there room for that?
For Cass and Enzo to be singles?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. It would really be unfortunate if they never win the tag team titles, but I guess that would also tell a good story in their singles runs.
Fair. I just always thought that they would win the titles and hold it for a while before. I don't know. I don't want to say Cass isn't ready. I just don't feel like I'm ready for them to break up yet.
Yeah, I mean, but think about it. It's been a while.
I mean, I wasn't ready for the Rockers either, so.
Yeah, well, we know how you feel about getting super kicked through plate glass windows, so.
Or Kevin Owens and Jericho. Or Kevin Owens and Steen. Or
Kevin
Ciampa.
Owens and Steen, I think those are the same people.
Kevin Owens and you know what I'm talking about.
I'm sorry, I have no idea.
Because Owens turned on two people, so.
Nope.
All right. So we're both saying Cesaro.
Sorry, don't know who that is.
The match I think you're probably most excited about, the kendo stick on a pole match.
Jeez.
I mean, why they're doing on a pole match, I don't really get.
Well, I mean, how else would you get a kendo stick? just do an Extreme Rules match. I don't.
Yeah, like a women's Extreme Rules. That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
Yeah, I would have been fine with the Extreme Rules because then you use whatever weapons you want and need. But, I get it. The kendo stick on a pole, it'll be okay, but the fans on Raw are, silent when Alexa Bliss is in the ring. And it's really annoying because, she's awesome. And it's like they haven't bought into her yet or they haven't accepted her yet. And it's kind of strange.
Yeah.
You can hear like they're doing the what's, and it's not like the playful what's. It's like, we don't care what you're saying. And like even when she makes the jokes, like they just keep going. They talk over her. It's
I kind of hate fans sometimes.
Yeah, it's really annoying.
But at the same time, and I'm finally trying to finish watching, and this is a completely different company, but Masters of the Craft, Ring of Honor. And I just kind of wasn't really looking forward to it because I felt it was just kind of like a regular house show type thing. And, the fans are crazy. Like, we went down to Baltimore, and at no point during the entire night were the fans like they were for the opener of Jay Lethal versus Beer City Bruiser.
Right, and this is why maybe we're spoiled. I don't know. But this is why I love PWG, and this is why I love going to Evolve at La Boom, because no matter what, the people are cheering and booing for the right people. They're into the stories, they're into the product, they're into everyone, and it changes how everything is viewed. And, when the crowds suck or the crowds don't care about people that you do care about, it makes you question that, or it makes you like, oh man, like the majority of people aren't buying into this, like, oh man, this is rough. So it really is annoying.
Yeah, I mean, because we're just going completely off tangent. What do you think about Evolve not running at La Boom the next time they're in New York? I mean, they've actually called it their home.
Well, I mean, they're in La Boom in 3 weeks, but
in
August.
But in August,
I don't know. It could just be a case of La Boom wasn't available or something like that. But I don't mind them going to other places, and the Elks Lodge is a cool venue, so it'll be interesting to see how they do there.
Yeah. All right. So, winner, Bliss or Bayley?
I don't think it's time for Alexa Bliss to lose yet, and unless which could be where they go Bayley and Sasha, but I don't think there's any. Oh, man, I'll stay with Alexa Bliss. I'll say she gets the win here.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the same thing. Not just to be in agreement, but because it just seems too soon. I don't think this is not how Bayley wins it. She doesn't win a kendo stick match to win the title. It's not Bayley.
Right, and the whole story is like, oh, will Bayley be able to climb the pole and get it? And can she be vicious? And I think she will get to climb the pole, and she will get to use it. And then some way Alexa Bliss is going to cheat, use the kendo stick, and be able to pick up the win.
Yeah, I can see that happening. Yeah, so I think we're both in agreement. Bliss wins.
Mm-hmm.
All right, then we have the IC title match. Dean Ambrose, the champion, defending against The Miz with, the Super Extreme Rules rule that if Ambrose is disqualified, he loses the title. Has that ever been a stipulation where the guy didn't lose it?
Yeah, it's definitely happened where they just kind of tease it, but it's too easily set up for Ambrose to get disqualified. Like, The Miz has Maurice, who can just hit The Miz, and he has Elias Sampson, who he hit to get Ambrose DQ'd. So, I really don't know.
Yeah.
I also don't know that I even care. Like, do I want to see The Miz with the IC title again? He's had it every other 2 months when he was on SmackDown.
Yeah, well, I think he's going to win it. I'm not really sure I want to see him with it, but I think he walks away. You're right.
I guess I'd rather see him with it than Ambrose, because when Ambrose is the champion, they just don't give him anything to do.
Yeah.
But I really don't know. I don't care to see either one of them as the IC champion, to be honest. Like, if they were feuding for the U.S. title, at least it's a different belt. Like, it's something different. But they feuded for the IC title forever.
You're right. I mean, there's nothing for me to say there. I'm in complete agreement.
So my pick is that I don't care who wins.
I'm not super enthused, but I will pick The Miz officially.
Like, is Elias Sampson going to come out very obviously and just terribly cost Ambrose the match, and then are we going to have like an Ambrose Elias Sampson feud? That's not something I want to see.
I mean, it's like when two people that you don't like start dating. Like, at least they'll just be there, and you can just kind of
right. But I don't have to watch them date. I have to watch these two guys every week.
You don't have to. It's this. I'm telling you, it's this crazy freedom that I've gotten the last couple of weeks. It's very exciting. Very exciting.
I'm dedicated to what we do here. So
listen, I still read. I have to publish the reviews of the shows, all of them. So I read everything and edit the articles for Last Winner, on ProWrestling.com. So I still know what's going on, even if I don't watch every minute of it.
Right, of course.
So I don't need you trying to discredit my. Don't you know what? Don't question my heart.
Jesus.
I hope you WWE ECW fans are very excited by that reference. All right, moving right along. Oh, so we're at the Extreme Rules Fatal 5-Way Universal Title #1 Contenders match. Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt versus Samoa Joe.
Listen, let's start off by saying this. These are the correct 5 guys that should be in this match. Right?
Yeah.
Like they chose the correct 5 main eventers. However, looking at these 5 guys, can any of them actually beat Brock Lesnar? I'm not sure. That's step 1. Step 2, who am I going to care about the most? Finn Balor? But is Finn Balor going to win and then beat Brock Lesnar? I'm not sure I can see that, unless you get some, like, Heyman turning on Lesnar and joining Balor or something like that. But I don't know that we get those things.
I guess I'm having, in picking somebody who's going to win, I have the same problem that you do. I just don't get who could possibly beat Brock.
Like Wyatt, maybe. Reigns, we know. Reigns just beat Seth on Raw, so I think he's out of the picture here. I think Seth has a good shot because he lost on Raw, and I think he's been doing nothing. Finn.
I think it's too soon for Finn almost.
I would love to see him win it, but again, if you see Finn in the same ring with Brock Lesnar, it's going to be alarming. It's going to be like, holy shit, this guy is small, and that doesn't matter to. Yes, that doesn't matter to me because whatever, this stuff can happen, but it's going to look bad for Balor, and it's going to look bad in the eyes of Vince, and that's never what you want to see.
Yeah, he's not. How do I say it? Balor's story is not that he's an underdog.
Right.
Like that. I mean, I didn't watch a lot of his
he's not that Sami Zayn, that who else? Who am I looking for here? He's not just that white meat babyface. Like he's the Demon King, which, by the way, we haven't heard that at all.
Oh, the Demon King, right? Oh yeah, Demon King, Demon King, Demon King, Demon King.
I mean, they said it 87 billion times, leading up to his Universal win. But I'm wondering if, what happens at the pay-per-view. I'm praying that he comes out in the face paint and does the whole thing, because if not, and they kind of abandon that for these kind of important, not really important matches, I'm going to be really upset because they haven't made any note of it, right? Like, they haven't mentioned it. Usually Balor's like, oh, you'll be getting a different guy at the pay-per-view, and we didn't get any of that.
Maybe I think it's just to pop people, and also so they
can hope so.
Demon King, Demon King, Demon King.
Right, the Demon King is here. We didn't know if we could expect him, but here he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, Man,
Okay,
I don't know.
crazy. Is there any chance, like, Samoa Joe wins?
That would be sick.
Right,
Samoa
because
Joe
that's
against Brock, but they're both heels.
But that's... I know, but fuck that. That's the match, man. That's the match.
That should be the match.
Tell them to shoot. Just shoot on each other.
And maybe you're right, because like Samoa Joe is kind of the forgotten man here, the odd man out. You know, everyone else in this match is a former world or universal champion, so it's really going to be interesting to see where they go from here and what they do.
All right. Did we miss anything on the other shows?
Would you? Well, we didn't finish this one, but
sure.
Would you have a problem with anyone winning? I don't know.
Bray Wyatt.
Like if Reigns wins, I'm just going to be like, oh, here we go again. But I don't know that I'll be like heartbroken. You know what I mean?
The only person I would be upset about is Bray Wyatt.
And why is that?
I'm just done. I don't care.
All right. I disagree with that, but
Yeah, I mean that's totally.
I think they've all see. This is the other thing here. Like you have the Reigns and Brock have history, Rollins and Brock have history, Wyatt and Brock have history. Now Balor and Brock have some type of issue or whatever. Balor was in the ring with Heyman. That's enough. But yeah, Samoa Joe is the only one who really has nothing, and I agree with that. That I think would be the best choice from a matchup standpoint, from a new creative standpoint. I think that's the way they should go. Is that the way they will go? I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I mean, in my heart, I don't think that's the way they're going to go. But
I don't either. But then I think back to like, okay, Joe debuted under Triple H. He's had this whole, like vicious streak going. Maybe he does get this one. But then it's a guy who looks like Samoa Joe and Vince McMahon's WWE. I don't know.
That match, man.
Because like, go ahead.
Just the idea of everything they can do together. It'll just be so real. It's the most real threat to Brock Lesnar.
Right. And that was my next question. Is like, does Brock lose when they face off? Or do they save the Brock defeat for Strowman or someone like that? But Strowman, at first I heard it was like 6 to 8 weeks. Then I heard it was 6 to 8 months. So I don't know if the 6 to 8 months was WWE selling it so that when he comes back in 2 to 3 months, it's like, holy shit, this guy's a monster. Look how quick he came back in half the time. Or if 6 to 8 months is legit. So we're going to have to wait and see with that. But that's a long time to not have Brock on TV and, not have the belt around. So I really don't know.
Well,
I guess I'll say Seth Rollins wins.
All right. I'm going to go with, I feel like I know it's wrong, but I'm going to go with Samoa Joe.
Yeah, just do it. Why not? Nothing to lose.
Yeah. I mean, it's not
if it's right, then we claim we're geniuses.
We're still waiting for that fan who is supposed to tally up all our predictions.
Oh, yeah. So that one person who listens, please.
Hey. Numbers have been spiking, my friend. All right. Did you watch NXT this week?
Like a tombstone kind of spike, like down?
Excellent. Up. More like a flapjack before it falls down. Damn it. All right. Did you watch NXT or 205 this week?
Don't believe I did.
Okay. I watched NXT. It was pretty good. I actually like. I like Cash Sona being on.
Is that a joke?
All right. It's just. It's possible. Like, do you act? So, what do you do? Watch SmackDown and then wait till SmackDown?
We've discussed this. Yes, I turn off wrestling for an hour, and then I watch Talking Smack.
It's freaking amazing.
Usually, I'll just watch Talking Smack at some point. Whenever it's on later.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you.
The network is a beautiful thing.
I couldn't fall asleep, and the wife was sleeping last night, so I just put her on NXT. Just because, just to not,
it's because you can,
just to not watch anything but wrestling. Like there are definitely days where I go by and I realize I have not watched anything but wrestling.
There are days you go by and you realize that you're standing up in front of the camera and your fly is open.
It's dope, super dope. That's on the show. I'm not even gonna edit that out. I don't care. Things happen. I'm old. All right, I forgot to put my zipper down, and that's fantastic.
You know, I'm just saying.
Now, you know what's going to happen is one day someone's going to ask us for the. They're going to want to see the video, which we don't do yet anymore. But one day, you know what? Special, maybe. You know, and I've been thinking we got to think of something for this, right? But for the 100th episode, maybe we
just
do
a live shot of
Facebook
unzipped
Live.
crotch.
We do a Facebook Live video.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
I haven't done those yet, but we could do that. Technically speaking, we have taped live in the past with people watching.
Technically speaking, we have the technology.
Yeah, people have watched us live in the past. So for the 100th episode, send us your thoughts on that. Do you want to see a live Facebook? Do you want to see a live video feed of the show unedited for the 100th anniversary, for the 100th episode? If you guys
hopefully our service can handle all dozen of those emails.
I got all of that set up. Don't worry. The millions and millions of our podcast fans out there. So if you guys want to see that, send us an email to runningwildpodcast@gmail.com or tweet over at runningwildlwos on Twitter, and we'll take your feedback into account. All right. So just quickly, Ring of Honor announced that at Best in the World, they have a couple announcements, like Ultimo Guerrero and El Terrible from CMLL are going to be there. Ultimo Guerrero has an amazing mullet. But at Best in the World, Cody is going to challenge Christopher Daniels for the title one-on-one. He had come out this week on Ring of Honor TV, and what he said, so during the pay-per-view, when he had the figure 4 on Lethal, Colt Cabana had said that Cody had Lethal's, shoulders pinned. And he made Colt repeat that, and in front of everyone, as kind of his point of, he should have won anyway. Mm-hmm. And that the board of directors are scared that because he's a free agent, they don't want him to win the title. So I'm actually kind of excited for that. It's going to be 3 weeks from now, so that sounds pretty cool. They have 2 shows this weekend. They have Gateway to Gold, which is going to be in Collinsville. What do they have? So you're supposed to have Young Bucks versus the Chris Brothers, which I thought was going to be really cool, but it ended up that Dave Chris is hurt. He's got some bulging discs in his back, so he's not going to be able to wrestle. So they're actually replaced by the Kingdom of Taven and Marseglia, who she'll be challenging for the championships, which is, it is what it is because of the injury. I was kind of excited to see new guys. When I was watching Masters of the Craft, they had been working the Carnies and Dark matches, but they actually had them on the show, on the VOD. So I think it's good to get different people in.
And they've been on those FIP shows and stuff like that. OI4K it's okay, but I mean, a team name of Ohio is for Killers, and these 2 weird-looking white dudes is kind of oh, well, this doesn't fit properly, but okay. I've seen them in PWG, and they're all right, but they don't do anything to really strike me as I gotta go out of my way to see these guys or see these matches. Yeah,
fair. You're gonna
the Cody Daniels is definitely interesting because Best in the World is one of their actual shows that matters, and so title changes could happen there, and it gives Daniels an extra month or 2 reign, and so it'll be interesting to see where they go with that, because I agree with you. I like this whole Cody and being the free agent and the title thing, and it will be interesting to see where and how they use that.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. I mean, on the weekend, Flip Gordon's gonna be there for both shows. He's gonna take on Gresham one night. You have Lethal. Lethal's actually gonna be facing Bobby Fish one night. You have some tag team action. Coast to Coast is gonna be taking on the Rebellion, and then the Rebellion's gonna end up taking on Dalton Castle and the Boys, which is not really a trios match I'm excited about because I just don't feel they've positioned the Boys to be like the Boys aren't just a regular tag team. They're Dalton Castle's helpers, so I don't kind of view that trio the same way. I am excited about Lethal versus Coleman. I don't think you see Coleman taking on like the main event guys like this. So the guy's like in his 40s and he's still in crazy good shape. So I'm actually kind of excited for that one. And they're going to do some sort of the Addiction is going to be taking on, I believe, Cody and Adam Page. So
that does sound like great shows.
Look, you know what? I said the same thing about Masters of the Craft and about Unauthorized when I read the cards. I wasn't really excited about them, and I just was like, whatever. But watching them, look, the crowds are super into it. Like the Unauthorized show was in Silas's hometown, so he hosted it. So that made it a little bit like funnier. So like for them to be house shows, and honestly, if they like, I think the same thing with this. When you're doing these basically road to shows, I think that some of them, if they're not a bigger show, a standalone show, I don't know why you don't package them for a cheaper price. Still sell them individually for $15 each, but do a deal where if you get both of them, it's like $20. I don't know. I'm not a marketing guy, but
I don't get why they don't, lessen the price a little bit on these house shows, and certain things I would watch. But it's yes, WWE house shows are good too. But would you pay to go see one? Would you watch it on pay-per-view, or you know what I mean? Like those things don't happen. But like some of the matches and stuff that take place on the house shows, especially like the Garden ones, I would love to see, but. They're good. Yeah, the crowds will be into them or whatever the case. But I need more than that. I need some impactful stories, or at least some reason why these guys are wrestling.
This dude just said impactful. No, yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't think this is a card that even if afterwards you look at the DVD, and this is 1,000% no offense to anybody on these cards. But this isn't the show that I need to own.
No.
That's what it comes down to. Even if you're doing it with DVD sales and whatever, it does not seem like I watch everything. So I'm going to watch it. And I enjoy Ring of Honor, and I get something out of all the VODs I watch. By and large, I know I'm very positive on it, but that's 100% true.
Right. We like wrestling. Wrestling is enjoyable. Yeah. And when it's done properly, it's very enjoyable. Which this is part of the reason why I like PWG. And you can say the same type of thing where, like, yeah, some of the cards don't look that enticing, or some of the cards, maybe you don't know everyone or something like that. But there's one a month. So it's not like Ring of Honor where I'm watching 10 shows of the same people, and now I'm watching these house shows and these on-demand pay-per-views, whatever, where I have to pay extra for them, and they're kind of just there. So that's where it kind of lapses for me. If they had less shows, maybe I'd be more inclined to watch them. Or if they were just better and these house shows had some type of the storyline continuation, that adds to it.
Yeah, well, I mean, for the most part, I would say they at least...
How many matches that you just mentioned had anything to do with the current storylines?
The Addiction versus the Bullet Club. I think Jay White's fighting Punishment Martinez again.
Sure. So that's 2. Yeah, thanks. 2, and you mentioned 3 nights of wrestling.
No, 2 nights.
No, I'm sorry. So 2 matches and 2 nights. That's good. It's a good ratio.
I'm sure I'll be surprised. Oh, they're gonna be doing a Shane Taylor versus Jay Briscoe, and it's like I kind of like the I don't know. Taylor had a pretty good promo, so I thought that match just kind of the way he's calling him out and he wants to prove that he's the baddest man in Ring of Honor type thing is something that I'm with and I'm kind of interested in. But
I'm with you. Right, I'm with you 100% in the seeing some of those matchups and some of those things that they do on these lesser shows or the house shows, whatever you want to call them. They're enjoyable, but to go out of your way and spend extra money or whatever the case, that's tough to do.
Yeah, I'm not, as somebody who watches every minute of it, you're right. You don't always have to watch them. I mean, like the Manhattan Mayhem show, obviously it seems like, the New York shows, things happen where you need to pay attention. But aside from that, I can't remember the last VOD that if you missed, you were missing. Maybe like the end of last summer. What was it? Maybe it was in October. I'm trying to remember when Colt turned on Dalton Castle. But that they ended up winning like the Champions versus All-Star match, or it was down to them in the Bucks, and then they cashed in their title shot right there. So that's the Chicago Ridge show. I'm almost fairly certain because I think that's another venue or another town that things occur in. But you usually don't get much movement in Collinsville. No offense to Collinsville,
right?
Good for,
The shows in New York, shows in Chicago, maybe like Los Angeles. Those kind of shows are always, they're going to bring something extra because they know the crowd's there, or the people that are going there are knowledgeable or super marky, whatever you want to call it. But I can't get excited to watch a random Ring of Honor show, and like you said, Collinsville. No offense to anyone there, but
sorry, Collinsville.
It's just not my style.
All right, fair enough. So, anything else you wanted to bring up before we wrap up today?
Yes. Will Ospreay won Block A. Kushida won Block B. So, Will Ospreay is going for the back-to-back Best of the Super Juniors. I think he is the second non-Japanese person to be in back-to-back finals only after one Finn Balor. So, that's pretty good company right there. And it's really going to be interesting because Kushida and Takahashi have this whole long storyline going, and I think it kind of is building to Kushida getting that rematch and maybe some vengeance. But Ospreay just pinned Tamagotchi on the last show and to win the block, so they have that match definitely already set up. So either way they go here, it can be good, and I'm definitely looking forward to watching this because it'll be the main event. It'll be where it belongs, and I'm sure they're going to kill it.
I have been a little out of the loop because I've been a little busy with work, but I'm looking forward to catching up or at least jumping onto the train to catch the finals.
Yeah, I mean, you also just the other match that I'm really looking forward to. You had Okada and Gato against Skrull and Omega. And, who really cares about Gato? But those other three and the story between Omega and Okada is worth it itself. And, our love for Marty Skrull is well documented.
1,000%. All right. Anything else?
No, that's pretty much it. I think that show is also tomorrow morning, Saturday morning, or yesterday morning, whenever the hell this is released. So,
looks like the sun's
hopefully we all caught that.
Looks like the sun's gonna end up watching that tomorrow morning instead of cartoons. All right. So with that out of the way, or with all that, so I want to remind you guys a couple things. You can check us out on runningwildpodcast.com. You can send us an email, runningwildpodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter at runningwildlwos. You can follow me at rich_laconi. You can check out my writing about Ring of Honor over at pwponderings.com. as well as ROHworld.com, and Last Word on ProWrestling.com, where I write a little bit more WWE pieces. And also head over to Paste, where I have up the interviews that you can find in the archives of Cody Rhodes, Jay Lethal, Christopher Daniels, Colt Cabana. We've interviewed guys from the WrestlePro show that'll be going on this weekend, Delroy Alexander, and the current champion Mark Sterling, which will be out in St. James this weekend. So there are tons of back interviews, and as much as our content can be also about the upcoming shows, it also features some really great interviews. So make sure you guys go back and check those out. Please make sure that you guys rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast over on iTunes. You can follow us on SoundCloud and Stitcher as well. And I believe I covered everything, sir. So
yeah, as long as there was no emails from Chris in Los Angeles or Adam in Brooklyn, yeah, we're good.
No, not this week. We miss you guys. Please send us some correspondence. We love hearing from you. Oh, and of course, new people. Thanks. Thanks for jumping on board. We got some new listeners last couple weeks. So you guys also should head back to the back archives where there's plenty of great stuff. And however, we'll see you guys next week at usual time. And thanks for joining us this week. And don't forget that you've been listening to the podcast that is just too sweet.